We're given a diagram with a certain amount of reactants inside, and they correlate to this reaction. Hydrogen gas plus oxygen gas yields water. And the question is, if these are the amounts of reactants we are given in the system, then which of these would represent what is left over in the system after the reaction occurs? So first, you can count up how much of each reactant we have. 1, 2, 3, 4 oxygens. So there's a given amount of 4 oxygens. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hydrogens in the system. So now we can actually use these two amounts to determine how much of my product are we going to make, which one of these is the limiter, and then how much leftovers of the excess do we have. So first, I'm going to find out how much hydrogen, how much water are we going to produce using both of these reactants. So we'll start with hydrogen. If I have 9 hydrogens, the ratio of hydrogen to water is 2 to 2, which means 9 times 2 divided by 2 equals 9 waters that we would produce given the 9 hydrogens that we start with. If I use oxygen, then we can determine from the oxygen how much water will we make, because there is 1 mole of oxygen to 2 moles of water. So 4 times 2 equals 8 waters that we could produce with the 4 oxygens that we have. So because 8 is less than 9, then this is how much water we can yield. And because the oxygen is what we use to make that yield, we're going to run out of oxygen first, which makes oxygen our limiter in this problem. The limiting reactant is going to be used up completely. So after this reaction, we will have 0 moles of oxygen remaining. We just determined that we're going to make 8 waters based off of the amount of oxygen. So now the question is, how much of the hydrogen are we going to use up and how much will be left over? In order to figure that out, I'm going to have to do a separate problem where I stoich from the oxygen to the hydrogen. So we'll say 4 oxygens, and we're going to determine how much hydrogen will the oxygen consume. Again, the ratio is a 1 to 2 ratio, and so 4 times 2 is 8 hydrogens are going to be consumed of the 9 hydrogens that we have to start with. So that means that if I subtract these, essentially take the absolute value, we'll have 1 molecule of hydrogen remaining after the fact. So there'll be 1 molecule of hydrogen in excess. We will use up all of the oxygen and we will produce 8 water molecules, which corresponds with letter D. 1 hydrogen, 0 oxygen, and 8 waters. So this is letter D.